Hey everyone, welcome back to Lisa Study Guides. I'm here today with Sarah.
Hello.
Who's one of my amazing tutors on our team at Lisa Study Guides. You guys have probably watched a few of these videos before, so you'll know that I'll just let her introduce herself.
Hi guys. So my name's Sarah, as you know, you already heard. I'm in my third year of uni now. I go to Monash. I'm doing an arts degree now, majoring in Chinese and literature and minoring in Italian. And I graduated from high school in 2017. The subjects that I did during high school were Chinese, French, English, literature, and ancient history.
Damn, you did a lot of subjects. I mean, not like,
yes.
a lot of languages.
Yeah, that was a bit of a ooh. But I wasn't going to do like any maths or science subjects because I wasn't really interested in them and they weren't really like my strong suit. So I was like, I'll just stick with what I'm comfortable with.
Yeah. Today we wanted to talk a little bit about your tutoring experience. So in case you don't know, Sarah's been tutoring with LSG for 1.5 years. I know that, you know, some of you out there might be interested in getting started with tutoring with us at LSG. I thought it would be just interesting just to chat to a tutor and hear that tutoring experience from a tutor side. If you're somebody who's interested in becoming a tutor, then either, you know, it doesn't have to be with LSG, but LSG is an awesome company that you definitely want to work with.
No self-promo or anything.
No plug, whatever. Go where you want.
Reverse psychology.
Yeah, that's it. So yeah, I guess like just to start off with, because I know you reached out to us, didn't you? Or did we reach out to you?
No, you reached out to me.
Okay. So what we do at LSG is sometimes we reach out to high achievers, especially if we're looking for tutors in a certain area. So I think what must have happened before we contacted you was we had run out of tutors in Sarah's area where she lives, and we were just looking for, you know, an awesome person to join our team and to help look after any new students we'd get in that area. So yeah, I guess when we reached out to you, what were your immediate thoughts?
Oh my god, I remember I was literally in the middle of exercising or something and I got the message and I was like, pause.
Hold up.
I was like, wow, what the heck? Because I was literally looking for a job at that point as well. So I was like, hey, not bad.
Hey, you manifested it.
Yeah.
Were you looking for a job in tutoring or just
in general? I think it would have been my first job, so I was really chill with whatever it would have been just to get that experience. But then to like have tutoring as my first job, I was like, wow, that's something. Like, yeah, and it's something that, you know, I felt like, oh yeah, I could definitely like keep up with that. You know, it's not something I'll get bored of or anything.
Right. What made tutoring different from just like maybe like a retail job or?
I guess just the fact that you get to really help other people and build close relationships with like the students. Whereas if you work in retail, you might get like regular customers or whatever. But it's not like, you know, like a one-on-one sort of experience where you get to really, I guess, learn things about people.
Yeah, okay. And so what made you decide to go for it?
Well, in the back of my mind, I always had this thought that, oh, maybe in the future I could be a teacher or something. And then I thought, okay, well, tutoring would be the perfect first job for that. And like in terms of getting experience. And also because obviously I've been through year 12 as well. So I remember how stressful that was for me. So I also saw it as an opportunity to try and help others through such a stressful experience. Because I know it was really hard, so if I can, you know, do that little bit to make it a bit more relaxing for those involved in it, then...
Yeah. Oh, that's sweet. I guess it's like passing on your experience.
Yeah.
And teaching them what you've learned.
Because it's actually so interesting when you've gone through it, but then you see other people going through it. And like, now that I'm out the other side, and I'm looking back at it, I'm sort of like, I shouldn't have been as stressed as I was. So then if I can try and make other people going through year 12 understand that, then hopefully it makes a difference in a way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know how stressful it is. So.
Yeah. And how many students did you have in your first year / second year of tutoring?
In the first year, because I joined like halfway, I think I had about 3. But then second year, I think I had 5 at some point, and then like it went to 4.
Yeah. And was that a manageable workload for you?
Yeah, I mean at first it can kind of be a bit difficult with uni because like I'm majoring in literature, so that's already a lot of books per semester.
Yeah.
And then like tutoring as well, all their English texts. And I had one student that did literature as well.
Yeah.
So I had to like learn literature and English text. So it can be a little bit challenging, but at the same time, it's like pretty rewarding, I feel like. Because when you are reading, it doesn't feel like you're wasting time. It kind of just feels like you're being productive and you're learning things.
That's how I feel about reading books for students as well. How, I guess just to be really broad about it, how has your tutoring experience been?
I think it's been really good. I mean, sometimes it can be challenging, like I was saying, with reading all the books, catering to each student. But I think it's also been really fun in the sense that you get to learn about, you know, people and their experiences like studying English. And it's also just really rewarding to see it when they do improve. Because like obviously, you know, they're not going to improve overnight. It's unrealistic.
Yeah.
But over the course of like say, you really see how much more confidence they get.
Yeah.
And like even just their grades improve as well.
Yeah.
So I think that's just really interesting to see. Yeah.
That's awesome. And did you get along with your students?
Yeah, definitely. Honestly, I've been pretty lucky because I haven't gotten any students who are really, you know, reluctant to do well in English. So a lot of the ones I've had are like all pretty eager to learn and they ask questions, so it's good. Like obviously even if they don't ask questions, like every time I explain something I'll be like, oh, do you have any questions, was there anything unclear, just to make sure. But yeah, all the ones I've had have been pretty chill, really easy to talk to, and I find that the best way to relate to this might sound a bit weird, but I feel like the best way to relate to students is to literally make meme references.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like, because usually they all understand it. So it's like, okay, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it makes, like, I guess, the atmosphere a lot more relaxed. So, you know, they don't feel too scared to talk to you or ask questions.
Absolutely. And you're only a couple of years older than them anyway.
Yeah.
So I guess there's a lot of stuff that you can relate on.
Yeah.
And especially because of your VC experience, that in itself is already something like super relatable for you to connect with them upon. Yeah, I guess like something to add on to that is actually we found that at LSG, the type of students who engage with our videos or blog posts or sign up for tutoring are actually people who are generally quite eager or determined to do well. Whether or not they are already excelling or they're still struggling and see a lot more room for improvement, they all have this inner desire to want to do well for themselves.
Which is really good, because you don't, like, I mean, not that you don't want, but it can be difficult with people who aren't really interested because then they don't have that drive to try and do well. Yeah, even though they are getting that extra help.
Yeah, and I guess that's something important to learn as well. Like when you're looking for a tutor, I guess if you're someone who's just solely relying on the tutor and you're not going to put that extra hard yard in yourself, then you're really not going to reap the benefits from a tutor / even in your own studies. Yeah. A tutor's there for you to sort of facilitate your growth, but you have to also be the driver of it.
For sure. Like I feel like practice, obviously, I mean, you probably hear it all the time, but practice does really help, and like practice does make perfect. Yeah.
So I guess every student is different. Every person's unique. So how do you sort of work your lessons for each individual student?
Right, so obviously like you said, because every student's different, you do have to sort of alter the way you go about each lesson. For everyone, it's really useful to just go over their essays with them and give them advice. And for some students who struggle a little bit more, I usually encourage them to, you know, outside of tutoring lessons, to just try and get in that extra bit of practice, and that way, you know, like they can send it to me and I can obviously have a look through what they've done. Sometimes I think it's also a good idea to start writing snippets of essays throughout the lessons. That way I can help right then and there. And I do find that a lot of them struggle, or not a lot, but a few of them struggle with thinking on the spot. So then I'm just there to sort of like throw out ideas, but not tell them exactly what to write, because then, you know, they're not learning themselves. But yeah, I also encourage all of them to like try read a bit more. I mean, it can seem a bit tedious, but even if it's just 15-20 minutes a day, you are improving, because that way you're expanding your vocabulary and you're learning new things, if that makes sense. Like, it doesn't have to be an English text that you're reading It can just like literally be a newspaper or just a book for your own leisure.
I guess like, yeah, a lot of people are hesitant to read if we're talking about English specifically or like literature, but there's a lot of learning and growth that can come from reading that's not just vocabulary related, you know? Like I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, I just need to read more so I can grow vocab, but you're learning other things too, I feel.
Yeah, exactly. The more you read, the easier it'll be for you to sort of understand your English or literature texts and sort of read between the lines and like, you know, pick up all the themes and stuff like that.
Yeah, like it's hard to measure exactly how reading a book helps. It's not like a direct, like, this is exactly your benefit, like once you've read it, but there's all these intangible things like, being able to express yourself better, reading between the lines, or it's something that you've taken from this book you could apply to this book, stuff like that. So anyways, we're just nerding out. So what do you normally do in your lessons?
So normally I probably spend like the first 5 minutes or so just like asking them about their week, what they've been doing in class, that kind of stuff, just so, you know, we don't launch right into it and they're a bit like overwhelmed. Then it kind of just depends. Like if they've done an essay, then we'll look over it. Or if they've sent me an essay, then I'll give them feedback and then go over that feedback throughout the lesson. With one of my students, what we found was really helpful was to sometimes just like discuss the text, even if it means like you're not writing anything. When you discuss them, you just get the ideas out, and that way they can write notes about like what we discuss. And that way I can give them my perspective, they can give me their perspective, because like no perspective is necessarily wrong. Like in English, as long as you can back it up with substantial evidence. I kind of just ask them as well what their teacher has been saying. I do find that with English teachers especially, each teacher has like a different view on English and how to write an essay. So again, there's not one right or wrong answer. I feel like as long as you're, I guess, if it's an essay, as long as you're trying to answer the prompt within, you know, the structure, then like some teachers, I don't know, some teachers I really don't agree with what they say. And like I don't think that's a bad thing, I just think it gives you more of an opportunity to sort of have your own way of doing things.
So actually I think that's a really good point. So what happens, and I know a lot of tutors have faced this situation before, what happens when a student comes to you and they've said that their teacher likes them to do things a certain way, but it's not the way that you like to do it?
So if it's not the exam time yet and it's just SACs, I would tell them just go with what their teacher says, because the teachers are the ones marking the SACs, not me. But I'm not gonna like back down completely from my advice. But then when it comes to exams, I'd be like, look, your teacher's wrong. No, I don't do that.
Sorry to all the teachers out there watching this video.
No, I'm more just like, well, I'll give them, my perspective and kind of leave it up to them what they're most comfortable to do and what they think works best for them.
I mean, and that's sort of what you're paying a tutor for. You're sort of not just paying for their help, but you're also paying for that other interpretation that you're not going to get at school. And as with all English subjects, like there's no right or wrong, which is unfortunate for some. We prefer just to have a solid yes or no, but there's beauty in that what you say can work and what the teacher says can work. Even if you don't disagree with it, it's like up to you as the student to sort of figure out, okay, like which method do I prefer? Do I prefer even combining the two methods and like making it my own? It's totally up to you.
Whatever you think works best for you and whatever you think will get you the marks you want, then
And I think you'll find out which one is right for you by trying both methods.
Definitely.
And seeing which one sort of resonates with you better. You'll just know instinctively, like, these ideas are more coherent for me now. It actually makes sense for me when I do it this way as opposed to this way. And like if I'm doing this way, then I just feel really forced and I'm really struggling to get through it. So And I also know that, you know, with tutoring, you have some students who are in person, but you also have some students who are online. Tell us a little bit about the differences.
So the ones that I have in person, obviously they're from Victoria, so they're doing VCE. And then the ones I have online, so I actually tutor them on Skype. I'm still tutoring one of them, so she's from Queensland. And then I tutored someone else who was from Tasmania. And it was pretty interesting. Like, it's kind of cool to be able to still tutor someone like online.
Yeah.
And so with the students I tutor, I have tutored interstate, it's just been a little bit challenging in the sense that they have a different curriculum to BCE. So I have to try and like, you know, attune to what their teachers expect of them, what's expected from their curriculum. But I mean, ultimately, like English, when you're learning it, is fundamentally the same. So when you write an essay, it's still going to be of the same sort of format than, I mean, to what you would have in BCE.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just been kind of cool. You know, like they could have just gotten a tutor from like, you know, where they're from, but the fact that they came to you, it's like, it's pretty cool.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Hello, all the interstate students.
Yeah, I think it's been pretty cool. And also, obviously, the way you kind of structure lessons is slightly different. So for example, with them, because we can't, you know, we're not looking at the same piece of paper or whatever. So what we do is we have like a Google Doc open.
Yes.
And that way we can, you know, both look at what we're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know like a lot of people are hesitant still about online tutoring, but I'd say if you're somebody who, you know, if you're living a little bit further out, or you're maybe someone who's super busy and you just don't have time to travel, and you are maybe considering online tutoring, I'd say definitely go for it.
Yeah.
Like, the tech is definitely there now to support online tutoring. Google Docs, you're literally staring at the same page.
Yeah.
So it's just like in person when you're looking at the same page with that student or tutor.
And you can still like add in like little comments and stuff with that as well. So, like you said, it's more effective for people who might live a bit far away. And it does save you time, like traveling. Or like even the cost of traveling.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I don't know, I personally just found online tutoring awesome
Yeah.
for several of my students. And they've all really benefited from just having it online. Yeah, if you're someone who's maybe thinking about online tutoring,
would recommend. Yeah.
At LSG.
Yes.
I mean, what?
Nowhere else.
Yeah, how is that online experience for you, tutoring?
I actually really enjoy it. At first, I was sort of like skeptical. I'm like, how can you properly get, I guess, an effective lesson of tutoring through online? But then I really quickly discovered it's really not that hard. You just, like with all the technology now, it's super easy. Like I said, like Google Docs, and like even if you're on Skype, you can just send photos or screenshots, or like if you have them through iMessage. Yeah, it's actually not too difficult, and I feel like it's convenient as well, like I said, because you don't have to travel. And you know, if you do need to like last minute change the lesson for whatever reason, at least both parties involved aren't really super affected by it, because you're both going to be at home anyway when you're tutoring online.
Absolutely. Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad you enjoy it. Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me.
OG. Hopefully we'll do some more videos in the future when we've got some more ideas. Otherwise, you guys let us know if you've got particular questions for Sarah. We're more than happy to answer them. Well, she's happy to answer them. I'm happy to ask them.
Any more video ideas, feel free to drop them.
She's a natural. Drop them down below.
I just watch too much YouTube.
Yeah, so do I actually. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye!